What is up, guys? It's Antoine here for another Mad Talk interview. Mad Talk is all about showing how entrepreneurs and creatives are making a difference in their everyday world. Today, we got my main man, CreatorSourceStudios. Yes, he over here, the leadership leader, genius, everything else that you can be said. So, Derek, with no further ado, can you please introduce yourself? But first, don't forget, guys, to like, comment, and subscribe to this. Share it on all of your social media networks, and let's get this popping. Let's get this Mad Talk movement running forward all day. So, Derek, please introduce yourself to the people.
What's up? What's up? What's good, people? So my name is CreatorSourceStudios, the brand oracle. I got that name from my clients, but out of Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina. And yeah, man, I'm just excited to be here. Thanks for having me. I'll just jump right into it. So I think, what people want to know is like, what do you do? So I am a branding and PR strategist, but I do it a little differently. So I infuse mindset coaching with branding and PR strategies to help athletes, entrepreneurs, transitioners, creatives to build their brands from the inside out so they can get their mind right, their grind tight, and shine bright while using their time right so that they can attract, connect, and serve their clients with quality.
While keeping their pockets tight.
While keeping their pockets tight. Yeah, I'm going to have to add that line in there, right?
Throw that in there.
Yeah, got to throw that in there.
No royalties.
All right, I'll give you credit. I'll shoot you a line. Yeah, and I've been doing this thing for about 14 years now. I've been a full-time entrepreneur for about 4 years. I started in 2014 with my own agency, but prior to that, I worked, and learned everything I could on the agency side right out of college. My undergrad was marketing, and so I went straight into it, literally from the ground up. I was a street team mobile marketing coordinator, so I was on the ground, flyering cars at events, handing out flyers, scheduling the tour. So like I really started from a grassroots marketing perspective way back in the day before social media really got off popping. So you really had to do marketing the traditional way of, advertising, but then getting feet on the ground and getting right into the clients and the customers' faces.
Like you were saying, you're a PR specialist, basically. Mm-hmm. I hate that word specialist sometimes because it misleads people at times. Like I can go around saying I'm a social media specialist. That doesn't mean I actually know anything, but that word specialist, people be like, damn, okay, so he might know something. Like,
right.
We can do something. But, just getting into that, let's say that somebody had a startup, regardless of what the startup is. It could be a production company or like a laundromat. What would you say is the biggest thing that they have to do, regardless of their age or anything? By the way, how old are you?
I've just turned 36.
Just turned 36. Damn, you're young. Like, you're young as hell right now. Like, I'm 25. I just turned 25 a couple of weeks ago.
Okay,
but yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I think you told me happy birthday on my birthday anyway.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, you did. So I appreciate it. But what would you say is the biggest thing that those businesses need to know? Like about just making a difference and everything like that.
I would say the biggest thing that businesses, even personal brands, whatever you're doing, you need to know why you're doing it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the core. And a lot of people talk about, it's the why, and they kind of brush it off. But the why is what keeps you grounded. It's the foundation. It's the action. It's the intent and your whole reason for starting the business. Like, why is it that you're doing what you're doing? And that's fueling your passion, which is the emotion we need to continue to strive after the purpose. And I run into it a lot of times. I'm running into a lot of entrepreneurs now who I serve whose business has outshadowed their own personal brand. So they've been chasing the money. They've been chasing the accolades. They've been chasing this functional expertise, right? The skill that they're just dope at, right? So they've been chasing, PR. I use that for example. They just been chasing PR, and it gets to a point that they get so lost in the business that they don't even know who they are, and they have their own aspirations and their own things that they want to do. And so I work a lot with clients who are in that situation, whose businesses took off, but their businesses overshadowed them. And so now they're going back to like, who are they and what do they really want to do? And it's always centered around their why. I always say, if you can identify your why, and your why comes with experience. So you're not going to know it all right out of college when you first start. The more experience you get, the more that begins to unfold for you. And so that's the first thing, because the why then builds everything else. It helps to tell the story, you know?
No, I need that money. Should I focus on the money, Derek? I'm acting like the people that would actually.
Right.
Should I focus on the money, Derek? What you talking about, Derek?
I would,
Derek?
definitely. Like, so for me, for example, so before I knew my why, you know, you got to get the right now money. So what is the thing right now that's going to fund the dream, right? So if your why is not, you know, cashable at this point, then, you know, take that skill and then use that skill. So whether it's working for somebody or working for another company and stacking that paper while you know, hustle at night and start building your business, or whether that's freelancing, but you have a gift, right? I always tell people your gift, your skill, your talent, that skill set that you use to make money is only making room for you to do the thing that you really, really want to do. So it has a purpose. It has a reason to exist to help you really go after the thing that you really want to do. And in some cases you can merge the two, right? In some cases, you know, your gift or that talent or that skill that's making you the money can also be weaved into the purpose, right? So I say, you know, you got to do what you have to do in the moment of now, especially like everybody doesn't have money. Everybody doesn't have, like, you know, family passing them money or just a great idea that's just going to make them instant millions, right? So for a lot of us, even myself, I had to make sure that I put in the work to learn, to understand, to grow, to build my network. Like, it was 9 years before, you know, I even considered entrepreneurship. But that whole time I was building my network. I was learning. I was, you know, saving ideas. I was seeing how I would do it differently.
Yeah, how do you feel about college students making businesses? Do you feel like I feel like there's no excuses now, man. College students, you need to make a business. You need
There
to
are
make
no excuses. Yeah, there are none. There are none. I think the biggest piece that I would say is just needing the guidance. And I think the more that we can provide guidance to the younger generation, the college students who are looking to start a business, the more of them that they will take that leap. One of the things that I see a lot with entrepreneurs is that a lot of them feel like they have to do it by themselves, or they have to do it alone, you know? And I think that can be very discouraging, even for those who have businesses, and why some businesses don't last, because they're the bottleneck. They're the one doing everything in the business, and they haven't, you know, gone out to seek help, or they didn't ask for help because of pride or whatever the case may be. And so I think for students, you know, finding a mentor, or even if there's programs on campuses that are incubators and help students to even consider their entrepreneurial, you know, spirit and their ideas, to see if it's something there and provide them with support. And I think a lot of times that light, that encouragement is all one needs.
Looking for it, especially with that guidance that you're talking about, especially with that, because I'm not gonna lie, my own personal story, and I know this is about these interviews are about the interviewee, not about me, but my own personal story that I think can help a lot of people is that I've been doing this, building a production company or building a YouTube channel since 2015. I've had groups of 30 people that said they were interested in helping me, I had groups of 4.
Yeah.
Interested in helping me. And all those times, I was always the bottleneck, the person that was doing all the work. They would make excuses like, oh, I have class, or oh, I have this, or I have that. Oh, I can't do this. I don't see this really going anywhere, but how much effort are you really putting into it? Now the team that I've been working with these guys for a year now. And it's like night and day. It's not even like that anymore. These guys want to take on more responsibility, are taking on more responsibility. A lot of times they would say, hey, Antoine, if you can't do something, let us know. We'll do it. It's not an issue. Don't try to be like do it yourself. We'll do it for you. Don't be on that.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is for a lot of young entrepreneurs or people that's starting up?
As far as like wanting to help and wanting to be there, or not stepping up to the plate when the opportunity is given?
I think a little bit of both, and then also feeling like they have to be that bottleneck. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think
bottleneck.
Right. There we go. Bottleneck. I think for me, I'll take my experience. For me, I always felt like no one could do it as good as I. And if I wanted done it right,
say it again.
No one could do it. And if I wanted it done right, I would need to do it myself. And so what that does, it does two things. again, it makes you the bottleneck so that if anything happens and you've only created a space where only you can do it, you can't scale, you can't grow from that. And I learned that the hard way. It stresses you out, everybody's coming to you, and it's like all these people pouring into one person, and you only have so much time in the day. So that's one issue it creates, right? Stress, all that stuff. The other thing is that it doesn't allow other people to grow, right? It doesn't give other people the opportunity to make the same mistakes that, I was afforded, right? Mm-hmm. Or to even have the experience. And so, you prevent the passing down of knowledge and skills when you feel like you have to do everything yourself. And the truth of the matter is all that's a lie. You don't have to do it all by yourself. Yeah. It's one of those things where, and a lot of it comes from beliefs and thoughts that we've adopted as a child, as a kid, when things didn't work out. Well, I'm just going to do it myself. Or you've heard our parents say that. And so it's this belief that we've adopted, and it goes into our thoughts, our feelings, our actions, and the results of us always having to do everything. And so I think for me, it started one piece at a time. Like when I had an internship program, it was just releasing bit by bit with the intern and trusting them. And then also just learning to let go. And it took small steps, but eventually I got to the point where when it started freeing up my time, I was like, yo, I can work on this. I ain't got to do that. Oh man, I was giving them everything. But then I also thought about it from a perspective that it's helping them to grow. Get clear on what you love to do within your business. As the CEO, as the owner, like I'm the visionary. I love coming up with the ideas. I can lead the hell out of a team on how to execute it. But now where I am, because of all the years I've been in it, I don't really like the execution part anymore because I've done it, Mm-hmm. So for me, I understand that I can jump in and help the team out so don't get it right. Don't get it twisted. I tell people, don't get it twisted. I'll get in the dirt with you. But I recognize that. And so I fire myself now from tasks that I don't need to do.
Like if you don't need to post that Facebook post or that Instagram post,
I'll give it away. I'll say, hey, and then I think what happens is a lot of businesses don't have policies or processes in place to teach people how to, hey, this is how I want you to post on social media.
Let's get into that real quick, because I feel like that's something that everybody who's watching this can really learn from, especially myself, who I've been building a business. I'm trying to build this production company. I'm trying to build this big entity, try to take over the creative and media world, try to change the world, do all these different things. What would you say is one of the biggest pitfalls of not having that operating system in there? Like, how do you start building that thing? Like, what's the pros, the cons, and just how to get to it? Because a lot of people don't really know this. So, I'm going to sit back. I'm going to let you talk. They're the floor, man. They're the floor. I'm excited. Cool. I've been waiting for somebody to ask. I've been waiting for somebody to bring that up.
Hey, but it's real. And it was one of the things that I avoided because I felt like it was going to take away from me doing work. That's one more thing on my plate that I got to do. But the more I thought about it and the more I started saying, okay, if I were to give this to someone, how would I want them to do it? Right. And so I think you look at the unique processes and elements of your business. So if you have a certain way that you like to film things, right? Then, and this is what I learned from mentors, right? Shout out to Lamar Tyler with Traffic Sales and Profit. I was at one of his events and he broke down some of this stuff in there too. And so just passing on the wealth, but really you start recording. Like, so say you have a step-by-step process on how, you do something, right? You can simply record it, get on a video and explain it, right? And then the video becomes a teacher, right? So if you're in the process of doing it, be like, you know what, let me record this so I can give this to a student to then listen to. Just like they have the how-to videos on YouTube. I think there's so many practical things we can do, but we don't really think about it, that it can be that simple. Like we think we have to write it out, we have to do this.
We have to build a script, do
all that. Yeah. But we can talk it out and then we can have somebody else transcribe it, right? So you can have the student as a part of their studying to transcribe it. Okay, listen to this video, write out the steps, and then tell it back to me.
He personally thinking about it is like, all right, this is simple. Like, why the hell would I be telling somebody this? But you don't know what people don't know.
I just had a conversation.
No, see,
I just had a conversation about that earlier. Yeah. Like I was with my accountant today, and we had a conversation and she was like, you would be surprised how many people I assume, like even for her, she's like, she assumes that, yeah, they should know something about financial stuff, like just the basics. And it's a lot of people don't. And so I always go into it as if, like I say, you keep it simple, as if you're talking to like an elementary school student, not to, you know, to make someone feel less than, but you use simple words, keep it simple, and assume that they don't know. And then when they, you know, and check in, if they say, oh yeah, I know that, then you can move on to the next piece. So it's like, you have to check the temperature before you put the food on the stove, right? You ain't just gonna throw, you know, something in super hot grease and burn it all fast. You know, you have to test it. You throw a little water on it. If it starts sizzling, okay, it's time to put the fish in the frying pan. So so that's kind of one of the ways. But yeah, the how-to videos, you can repurpose that. You can then put that in, it becomes a blog post. But if it's something unique to your operating procedures or how you want
I wouldn't do that.
things to do, then you wouldn't do that. But it's so simple to create those things. Like for me, I recognize one thing about me is that when I'm creating even like blog posts, like I audio record myself now, because it comes out so much smoother than me sitting and writing and trying to think. And then I get it transcribed and I go back and edit it. Saves me time, you know, but yeah, but you can do that. You can do a how-to video. You can do a screen grab and record your screen and walk, you know, through, you know, and then send it to the student and say, hey, transcribe what I said into a written document. And then that becomes a part of your manual. You edit it, make sure it's good. And then you can start creating a binder. So now you have a printed, you know, policies and procedures manual that you give to every intern or a new staff member that now has how we operate from, you know, posting our videos. How do we set up a video studio? How do we do this? And now you don't have to be the one that always is teaching and explaining. You have a how-to guide or video system that now they have to walk through, and then you ask them questions, and then boom, you've saved yourself time, and you're starting to build these policies and procedures that you can now implement in your business. And all you have to do now is just update it if things change.
You have the person who's working a job, who's focused on paying off student loans, but let's be real, the job that they're working is not making them happy. They're dysfunctional about it, stuff like that. And then somebody provides them with the opportunity, or they want to build their own business, but they're using the fact that they have a job as an excuse. Do you think operating systems with what that person is doing is going to make it easier? Or do you think that excuse is always going to be the reason why they can't do something? Let me know.
I think it's really the excuse, because it all starts with you.
Okay.
Like, it's so if you are the blocker, if you are the thing that's blocking you, it doesn't matter about policies and procedures. If you are the person that's blocking, then you're not going to be able to think creatively of how to get around the policies and procedures, or how to start, you know, at least, you know, getting the experience I need to start the business if I don't have it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not able to access that creativity because you're stuck in this whole thing. Well, I can't do it. And so that's all your mind is going to conceive. You can't do it. So why even try? You know what I'm saying? And so I think the excuse is the blocker of everything, right? Because it can be done. If you look at everybody's story, you know, if you look at the Oprahs, if you look at the Tyler Perrys, and yeah, people say, oh, they're millionaires now, but they had stories of sleeping in the car, being homeless, you know, all this stuff. So everyone has a story. Taraji P. Henson going to LA with only $500 for her son. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody has a story, but do you want it bad enough? Because there's a lot of people that'll talk about it because it sounds good. Like, a lot of people are talking about entrepreneurship now because it's trendy. They think it's easy. Man, when I say I would not pick this life for anybody, I wouldn't pick entrepreneurship for anybody because it's not for the faint at heart, right? But you know, if you do have that drive and you do have, you know, the ability to hustle and work hard, even when you don't feel like it, like right now, like it's 10 o'clock and we're on here, you know, talking business, you know, interviewing. Like, most people are like, you know, I'm going to bed, I got to work tomorrow, or man, I'll go tomorrow. No, you're always on. You know, you have to find I don't like to use the word balance because there really is no balance. But you have to find that integration, right? Integrate your life with your business so that the two become one, but you still know how to separate when it's time. Like, when I first started out, like I had to hustle. Like, it wasn't like I had a degree, but the degree didn't guarantee anything, right? I tell people all the time, if I get in a room and everybody has the same skill set as me and we're all interviewing for the same job, what makes me different from the other people in there? What's going to make them pick me over them? And really, it's your personal brand, is how you stand out. And what happens is a lot of the it's equal on both sides. The older generation and the younger generation have all been focused on what do I want to do when I grow up, instead of who am I and how does that align with what I want to do when I want to grow up. Because when you know who you are, then you can and the why, then you can find out what it is that you want to do, right? And you get the passion. So when you're in class and you're just doing a class project, then you're like, you know what, but I love this thing so much, I'm going to do projects on my side. See, what happens is that they're not pushed to the point of thinking outside the box. They're only thinking within the box that they have in front of them, which is this degree, this classroom, and this assignment. I don't want to do more than that. I just want to focus on this because this is going to get me there. No, the more experience, the skills, how you set yourself apart from the class is what's going to get you noticed, and it's going to get you more experience, because then you can say you have something different than everybody else.
And you know what's funny? They'll do the same thing on the job.
Exactly.
They do the same thing on the job. So what makes that different than what you do in a class like the class project? You do the bare minimum to get a grade. But what makes that? When are you going to step it up? What do you need to step it up? Do you need $500,000 a year to step it up? Do you need that company car to step it up? Do you need that vacation promised to you to step? Like, what do you need to step it up? Like, I see so many people use that as an excuse, saying that, oh, I'm not getting paid for this, I'm not doing that, I'm not doing this.
That's the biggest distractor. When I started, the first job I got out of college with the agency, of course, the opportunity came because it was a friend of the family. They were working there. They were about to leave, so the position became open. It was a contract position. It wasn't full-time, was no benefits. But I still had to interview. And it was down to me and this other girl for a meeting with the commissioner of the CIAA. And he asked me one question. He said, so why should I pick you for the job? And I was like, because I want your job in 25 years. You know what I'm saying? I want to be, and then I knew him. I did my research on him. I talked about why I was perfect for the job, my skill set, but not just my skills, but I know Charlotte. I lived here. I went to school here. I know the people here because they were moving the tournament to Charlotte. So I was thinking outside the box, not just about what I could do in marketing, but my internships led to that. So it was a collective of experiences because I knew what I wanted. I knew my first internship was with the Charlotte, at the time it was the Charlotte Bobcats. They're now back to the Hornets. And I remember I went in the sales and marketing department, and it was all sales. Didn't like that. Went over to fan engagement. And I remember distinctly, I was in the cubicle, a sea of cubicles. And I remember standing up and looking. And it was just like a sea of cubicles. There was nothing distinct. And I was like, this is not what I want. I don't want to be another person in a sea of people that doesn't stand out. I want something different. And so that's when I went into college sports and started interning there. And I saw the ability to stand out and be an individual. And that's what really sparked my fire. So I was like, yo, that's what I need to do. How can I find a job like this? And that's what led me to agencies. Agencies are smaller teams, but it allows you to shine and get way more experience. And that's how I was able to grow. Every time an experience came up or opportunity, hey, can I serve on that account? I wasn't getting paid off that account, but hey, it was an opportunity for me to learn, to grow. Then that's what I did. And that's how I got to where I got to, because it was something that was a part of me. I always wanted to do things with excellence. I was a hard worker. I was a problem solver. I like to help people out. So even when it wasn't my job, I would like to create relationships. So I would go to, when we used to work with sponsors, say, hey, how can I help you with this? You know what I'm saying? I know it's not our job, but if I can make your job easier and get you what you need with it. And I built so many relationships so that when I left, everybody was talking about me. Oh, we miss Derek. Oh, where's Derek at? And that's how I got my first client for my company, because everybody was telling the new commissioner, you need to get Derek. He knows everything about this account. He knows everything about the CIAA. And I ran into her and she was like, all I keep hearing is people talking about you. How can we, what can we do? And they couldn't hire me because of non-compete. But when the opportunity came back around, they was like, we're looking for an agency now. I was already prepared. I went and pitched. Just me. I had the people in my circle that I could bring on for design and things of that nature. But I always said, I know so much about what I can do. All I need is a designer and I can start my own business. I knew that for a matter of fact. I knew it because I had put in the work. I knew the ins and outs. I knew the back and forth. I knew how to do billing. I knew how to do this. So I knew how to run an agency. I just needed the pieces that I couldn't do and I could go for it.
The thing that I really want to know too is, as an entrepreneur and as a creative, because I think that word creative, I feel like has multiple meanings, and people don't really understand that. People think only a creative is a person that does art or does music or something like that. You can be a creative with law. You can be creative with
Mm-hmm.
medicine. You can be creative with anything that you do, especially science. Science and
Yeah.
creativity should go hand in hand,
Hand
because
in
look at the
hand.
stuff that you do.
Yeah.
Like the stuff that you do, they just think that because it's based off of research,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't have anything, but everything's based off of, you got to do research to do social media, and you're still a creative doing that. But
Yeah, exactly.
that's besides the point. Besides the point on there. We can get into that argument later.
Right.
But you know, the thing that I really want to know from you is, as an entrepreneur, as a creative,
Yeah.
what really drives you every single day to wake up and do what you do? Because I ain't gonna lie, there's been times, man, I'm sitting up here, things are not going right. I don't have this going on, I don't have that
Mm-hmm.
going on, and I'm sitting
Yeah.
thinking to myself, man, like this stuff is getting hard right now. Why am I doing this?
Man,
But then
look.
I had to like revert back. So what you gonna say?
Yeah.
What you
I
guys?
mean, you're preaching to the choir. I mean, same thing. And like I tell people all the time, like, just because we're entrepreneurs don't mean we don't have second thoughts. Don't mean that we don't have days where we're like, I would throw this whole thing in the trash. But really, and because it gets frustrating, because it's the thing that you're most passionate about. And so it's like everything is riding on it. And so when it's like a child, I would contend, it's like, you know, you birthed it, you're creative, you birthed the idea for this business. And so if something comes against it, you're going to be protective of it. If it disappoints you, if things happen, you're going to have all those emotions connected with something that's that intimate to you. Right. But I'll be real. Like some days I be hunting, I go in there, I look at resumes, job interviews, and I'm like, oh, that job sounds good. But each and every time I do that, the one thing that were two things that happen. I'll either get a note from somebody that says, oh my goodness, what you posted today was so great. I appreciate it. Like, you know, it helped me so much. Or I'll say it's three things. So that's one. Like, so out from the motivational things that I do, I always get people that I run into says, oh, keep doing what you're doing. I see what you're doing. It's great. It's amazing. And so, you know, you get those moments of confirmation from people when you least expect it. Right. And it tends to find you when you're sometimes at your lowest.
Yeah.
It tends to find you. The second part is that with the clients that I do work with, when I see how much value I provide and they're like, oh my God, like you're great, amazing at what you do. I want to, is it going to be you working on it or somebody else? Like, and when you start getting those wins. And so I remind myself, I tell people all the time, create a brag list, because a lot of times we can get so stuck in the present that we forget all the things that we accomplished, all the things that we've overcome. And so those things are like our own, like, pep squad that we go back to and we look at, like literally write it up on a wall somewhere, have it somewhere where, you go back and look at it in those times when you get low, because it'll remind you of how much work you put in and how much you've overcome, and that this situation or this moment that you're in is no different from one that you were in before that you got over, right?
Of course.
So, accolades, reminders, things. And the third thing is that when I think about working 40 hours a week plus for somebody else, and I'm like, I can just put that into my business. Like it snaps me out. Cause I'm like, if I'm gonna go work this hard, if not harder for somebody else, why not continue to push it here and make it work for me? And then that just really gets me back into grind mode. It's like, okay, let's figure this thing out. It applies to whoever you are. So because some people, I saw one of the guys that I follow, and, his thing is being, an entrepreneur, right? So people talk about entrepreneurs. If you've ever heard that before, it's really someone who has an entrepreneurial role within an organization. So they still get the sense of entrepreneurship, but they have the freedom to create within an organization with their support and their thing. So, there's different ways of doing it. Parallelpreneurs, people that work full time and have a business on the side. It all depends on what it is that works best for you. Some people, just want a 9-to-5. They don't want to be an entrepreneur. So, I think, it's one of those things where you can go back and get a full-time job if you want to fund your business. If you stepped out, or if you feel like, what, I really need this. And if that's what works for you, then that's what works for you. But it doesn't work for me, because when I think about it, I'm like, a lot of my clients, I get to travel. And I look at it from a bigger picture. I look at it as from the life that I want to create. Like, I can go have lunch with my mom tomorrow if I want. I can go down to Atlanta for an event, and I don't have to worry about asking for time off, right? So for me, the give and take is not just the money, but it's the freedom to operate and to live a life that I want to live, and have the freedom to spend time in the things that matter most. The things that matter most to me is time with family and friends, and have the flexibility and the freedom to do the things that I want to do that's going to connect and tie to the business and give me experiences, right? And so I look at that and I weigh the pros and cons, and every time it's like, hey, I'm staying in this thing because this over here, it ain't for me anymore, especially now that I've been out and I've been running things on my own. It's like, I can't see myself back unless it's like an unbelievable opportunity. And even then I'm still gonna be doing my thing on the side because that's me. But, it would have to be something that it had to be Oprah calling me and saying, hey, Derek, come work for OWN. Okay. But just, I'm still writing my book. I'm still doing my things on the side, but then I would still go in it from an entrepreneurial perspective. What can I learn? What can I learn from this that I can then take back out and then operate in my business, and the teachings that I can bring from this? And how can I leverage this title to get me more exposure? So when I do come back out, I'm really going to be popping. You know what I'm saying? So I still have that mindset of how can I use it? What can I create out of this situation to fund my business and fund what I want to do? And I think that's the difference between entrepreneurs, creatives. It's like we're always looking at what can we create out of this situation? How can this benefit us? What can I give to it? But what can I take away from it that I can then use to create and build something over here, right?
We have a 2-minute pitch segment where you can pitch about your business and show us how it's making a difference in your everyday world and your community. Yeah. So I'm going to have my clock out.
All right.
We're gonna we do 2 minutes exactly, man. That's what we do around here, bro.
Hey, we're going to knock it out. We're going to make this thing work.
We count around here, man. We count. Starting now.
So what's up? My name is Derek Ross. I am the brand oracle. So I infuse mindset coaching with branding and PR strategies to help entrepreneurs, transitioners, creatives, and athletes build their brand from the inside out. What I know for sure is that the thing that you really want starts from within. It starts from the core. If you have a brand, then your brand is connected to your business. And so what happens is a lot of times we get so overwhelmed and so focused on what we want that we forget the why that we want it. And that's tied into your story. That's tied into everything that you do, your messaging, how you connect with people. And I guarantee you who you are and what you want is connected to the ideal client and the people that you're meant to serve. So what I do is once I help you get your mind right and your grind tight so that you can shine bright and keep your pockets tight, I added that part in there. And I help you to maximize your time, because time is of the essence, right? That's the one thing that we can't get back, so that you can attract, connect, and serve the clients that you are meant to serve, your ideal clients, with quality and at the highest level. And I do that 3 ways. I help you clarify your vision. I help you amplify your voice, and I help you increase your visibility so that you can then take your brand to fuel your purpose, right? To create a business that fuels your purpose. And so that's what I do. And I do that for I've been doing that for 14 years. I've been doing branding, marketing, and PR for 14 years. I've worked with Coca-Cola, McDonald's, CIAA. I've had my clients featured in Ford Black Enterprise. So I know what I'm talking about. But the thing that really matters the most, and the thing that really makes a brand is why they do what they do and who they serve and how their brand can make an impact. And when you can do those things, you can then attract the money that flows to it, because money flows to abundance, right? Abundance is what you create in your business. And so as long as you give it a reason, the money will flow. So let me help you make that money.
All right, you have 5 seconds left, but you did
it. Boom.
Hey, you did it. Hey, so guys, it was so great having my man Derek Ross here. We can definitely have him on again. But like we said before, it all starts with you. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. And let's move this Mad Talk movement marching forward. Let's really get this thing started. Let's really get this thing popping, and let's become the next big talk show that's out in the world. Let's really get some things going on. But again, Derek, it was nice having you here. You
appreciate it.
Have a good time, have a good night, or have a good morning whenever you're watching this. And I'll catch you in the next one.
Peace.